But we'll go out there, take another 360-degree shot of the car, and then we'll get in the car and we'll start the car up and take a picture of the dashboard. And now document the out mileage. Show that these lights are now off, or maybe there is one still on for whatever reason. But it's all just to show this is what it was before, this is what it was after.
Welcome back to Boys Under the Hood. Pat Kelly joined by James Stevenson, owner of Lotus Business Solutions. Our special guest today is Matt Rivving, owner of Precision Auto in West Springfield, the best shop around. We've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of questions. I want to jump right into one and direct it to you, Matt, and let's talk about maybe a solution for this guy. His name is Kenneth. He's from Revving, Pennsylvania. He writes, I've been a shop owner for north of 7 years now, and I just don't feel like I'm doing it the right way. My guys are all going in different directions, and I'm not sure why. Then when I try to hold them accountable, I get frustrated with myself because I'm paying for a result that I'm not getting. Even more frustrated because I'm scared to tell them they're doing something wrong because I'm afraid that they're going to leave. Can you speak to that? How are you ever anxious to talk to a tech about something they're doing wrong because you're afraid they're going to go?
No, because I wouldn't hire anybody that I would be scared to talk to or that I feel like wouldn't be open to feedback. You know, if you're the type of person that, nope, it's my way or the highway and this is the only way to do things, then you're not the right guy for precision.
So now, do you establish that right in the hiring process? Do you ask them, you know, how do you feel if I think that you're doing something that could be done differently?
Yeah, we try to, the interview process alone is pretty extensive. There's at least 3 interviews.
Right.
So we really try to get to know that person before we ever even interview them, or hire them. But, and then part of that is meet the guys, meet everybody in the shop, get a tour around the shop and get a feel for things and get a feel for how we do things. And then come spend a half a day with us to a day. Just kind of, and just shadow somebody and see how we do things and see how we're different than everybody else and maybe different than the shop that you are used to be at, and hopefully we are that breath of fresh air that you're looking for.
Have you guys found that to happen a lot where a tech comes in and they already know what the hell they're doing? I already know what the hell I'm doing and just, point me to where I need to go kind of thing. And they kind of push back against the process?
Well, we used to hire based on like who was available, right? So a lot of businesses do that now. So like when I get a call from a new shop, that is a typical textbook problem that a shop has when they reach out to us. I probably answer that question a few times a month, literally. Great question. So one of the things that happens is you fail to build a pipeline. A lot of businesses, right? They don't need a tech today, but then they need one and they're like, shit, I can't hire one, I can't find one. Well, you have to constantly be recruiting. Just like a sports team, you're constantly recruiting new talent that you can add to your team. And so when you apply that logic, you are a lot more selective, right? You have tighter criteria because the roadmap is a lot longer, right? You have a lot bigger window to hire these people. You don't need them today, but you're trying to build these relationships. And so it allows you to really tighten up your criteria as to what you're looking for instead of just hiring based on necessity. Mm-hmm. I'm going to hire this guy right here, right now, because he's available. Well, most guys that are available,
there's a reason.
You know what I mean? We hired this guy. Remember this guy? It was a rover. It was a rover that had come in, and this freaking guy comes in. He owned a shop before. I can't even remember his name. And so he comes in and he's talking about, he knows everything. He's been working on cars all these years. I'm a hot shot. He comes in with all his tools in his arms and in boxes and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, do you have a toolbox? Yeah, I got a toolbox, And so like the first day he's got all his stuff set up in like cardboard boxes. I'll bring the box. All right, no problem. So we're paying this guy top dollar for all his experience, And you can see right through this guy first day, he's full of shit, But we hired him out of necessity. We, at the time, needed a body. Yep. We needed it. And so this guy, he gets the easiest job. Hey, look, drop this fuel tank, replace this fuel pump on this newer vehicle, and simple. And so, we're watching them, and, this is where this is, and this is where that is, and, here's the the jack for the tank and all this stuff, and the tank was only like a quarter of the way full, not a big deal. And so I might have walked away for 1 minute to help somebody with something else. And all of a sudden you hear, boom, kabango, and then splash. And I'm like, what the fuck, what's that? You know, I walk over to the other side of the shop and the tank's out of the car. You know?
You just told me to take the tank out of the car.
The tank's out of the car. And so this guy's standing there and he already looks like he got hit with a big bag of what the fuck, you know? He's just his fucking hair, dark brown hair, you know, this crazy looking dude. And he's standing there and he looks even more disheveled, you know? He's like, oh, messed up from this experience. And you see fuel everywhere. Everybody in the shop is like paused looking at him and they see me and they're all like, what's James's reaction going to be? And I go, tell me what happened. Well, you know, the thing just fell right out of the car, he says. It just happened to fall right out of the car. I said, it can't fall out of the car. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't use a jack. He's just trying to like put his shoulder on it and pull the thing down, and he pulled the bolts down too far, and the thing just came down. It like broke this. We ended up having to replace the tank and everything. It was like a very expensive, you know, mistake, but I think that was the last guy that we hired based on availability. And then from there, we always made a point to build a pipeline, a strong one, you know, so that we could hold people accountable. And so to answer this question, he doesn't have systems.
Yep.
You know, he doesn't have systems. You buy a desk at IKEA and you get instructions. Why would you run a business that you're trying to scale up to millions of dollars and not give people instructions? Why would you do it? It's insane, right? You know? And so you want to make it as simple as possible. You want them to fall out of their bed and land right in those slippers, right in their cozy, comfy slippers. Give them everything that they need, all the tools, all the time, all the training, and all of the materials, right? The materials are the tools, you know? And then hold them accountable to them. If you're hiring the right people, like Matthew said, it's easy to hold them accountable. Regular meetings, set expectations. Hey, I expect this of you. I am going to give you this amount of money and this structure and these things, but I want you to do this, that, and the other. I need you to come in and fix the cars in this way. And then you sit down and you hold them accountable regularly. And then they get used to it. Tell me a time where you told somebody, hey, I expect this, that, and the other of you. And then they didn't do it, and then they get upset with you. Right? It's harder for them to get upset with you because you're like, I know you're frustrated with yourself. You know what I mean? But like, tell me what you didn't understand. Right. You know, and sometimes people will be like, you didn't say it. Well, that's why we write it down. Mm-hmm. And we make them sign it. You know, and then you sign that you got your handbook. And even like just yesterday with one of our shops, you know, there was a marketing thing. Somebody had skipped over some step. Well, okay, well, here are the exact step-by-step instructions. Please, confirm that you've received it. Just so, you know, and then later on, they can never come back to you with the same thing. And they're never doing inconsistent things because part of your systems is verification, right? How are you verifying? Are you verifying diagnosis, the complete repair? Like, what is it?
So I feel that part of it as well is making the employee feel like they're part of the operation, making them feel vested in what you're doing, as opposed to showing up for a paycheck. You know, it's been a long time that I've gone to work for a paycheck. I go to work for me. I try to be excellent for me. But at the same time, I feel the closest to the people that employ me because they treat me well. How do you go about making the guys feel vested in what you do?
He's phenomenal at this. Phenomenal.
As much as you try to document everything and try to give them all the potential answers that they'll need. Should any sort of an issue come up, this came up, I don't know what to do. All right, did you check your handbook? Because I'm pretty sure it's in there. Oh, yeah, it is. It is. I totally forgot about that section. Yes. But as much as you try to document everything and you try to cover every single base you can, sometimes you get a wild one. We don't have that documented. So now we learn from that process and then we document it. But still, sometimes a technician can go, why do we do it this way? And you explain why. Maybe we should try this way. And I'm always open to feedback. I'm always open there's always potentially another way to do things. You know, could be another way to get from A to B. So I'm open to listen to that.
So to me, that's a very important part of it, right? as the boss, as the owner, you're still open to ideas.
Absolutely.
So you can't be that guy that we just talked about. Oh, I know everything. I know exactly what's going on. So you're talking about updating your handbook almost regularly.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Daily.
Yeah.
Daily.
Yeah. As things come up, little things, little things that you know. Just this happened yesterday. I was helping somebody in the office, and they said, "Oh, well, what about this? Like something specific about ordering a part. They needed to know something specific." And I said, "I'm pretty sure it's in the handbook." It wasn't. It wasn't in the handbook. It was just something very, very specific. I said, "I'm wrong. That wasn't in the handbook. But you know what? It's going to be in about 10 minutes." So that's why we tell people, don't ever save it. It's a living, breathing document. Yeah.
Now you talk about a pipeline of employees coming in. Is that a matter of like keeping in touch with local Voc schools who have bright guys coming up? Is it a matter of being in another shop and seeing that they do very well and hey, maybe I'd like to have that guy on my team? What's that process like?
Definitely keeping a really strong relationship with these local vocational schools is huge. These are the kids that want to work in this industry. So why not lean into that? It's hard enough to kids nowadays aren't always steering in that direction. So when you find someone that wants to go in that direction, lean right into that and really encourage them and let them know that like this is a field you want to go into. This is you chose wisely, my friend, and we can help you with that. Absolutely.
The thing about this industry is like it's getting harder and harder, right? Cars drive themselves, they park themselves, and so the guy that is marketing himself on town forums in the comments saying he could always do it cheaper and kind of beating the shit out of all of the legitimate businesses, that guy is gone. Like he's obsolete. He has a hammer, a torch, and an adjustable wrench. Those are not the tools that you need to fix these very intricate cars now, and so you've got to you have to try to you can find them, you can find these guys, but then it's challenging. We find that it's better to build our people, and so if we get them based on attitude, aptitude, and ethics, and then we train them a certain way, we get ultimately a much, much, much better result out of them. And like one of the things, it's so dirty. It's such a hard industry. And then most guys don't pay because they have that mentality. Well, we've been doing it this way forever, and it used to work, and it's going to continue to work. Well, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Everything is different now. And so then those guys, they still are trying to pay $12 an hour, $14 an hour, and they're like, well, I can't pay him more because I can't charge the customer more because the customer will complain. Well, then call Lotus Media because you should be trying to get yourself a different type of customer. There are people that will pay for your valuable service because they want to know when they step on their brakes at 80 miles an hour that the car is going to stop. And then there are people that don't give a shit if the car is going to stop and they just want to pay $40 to do brakes. You don't have to take that customer in because your tech he's got to have work boots, right? How much is a good pair of work boots? $300?
Yeah.
$350? How many miles a day do you think that a technician walks, let alone how many hours does he stand on those feet? You gotta have comfortable boots. Auto repair shops, technicians, they get us to supply diagnostic equipment, the 20, the 40, the 50. Alfonso Joella was in here a week ago and he was talking about one of his main scanners. It's 40 grand. We've got a cabinet full of those things, a cabinet full of them. And so we've got all of these different scan tools and all these special tools, and we provide that. But the techs, you have to have hand tools, air tools, some of your own little special tools, wrenches, all kinds of stuff like that. Like average guy spends $15,000 to $30,000 on tools, let alone the toolbox itself is like anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. We provide those, by the way. We provide a uniform set of toolbox. Everybody has the same boxes.
Okay, so that's a small detail, and in my experience, I've found that this is true. That employees will work to the level of their environment. If your shop looks like shit and the equipment's crap, antiquated, you're gonna get a worse guy.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's important to give them the tools and important to have the shop clean and important. It's all about perception to me. I mean, I've worked in radio stations where there was no air conditioning. and I'd be, my headphones would be soaking wet with sweat, and I just didn't give a shit. I couldn't wait till my shift was over. At the same time, I've worked in like some of the most technologically advanced stations. I'm like, wow, I need to live up to this standard with my delivery when I work.
When we get these guys, we've had some incredible people work for us, and we have some incredible people working for us. And so there have been times, Matthew and I, when a decision is made, certain things Matthew just does on his own, and we consult with each other for most things, but for the most part, like, it's always what is best for the shop, what is best for the customer, and sometimes the customer is wrong. And if the customer's flat out wrong, then that's it. We'll see if there's some gray area and a way to make them happy. But for the most part, if the customer's like, hey, look, you changed my oil and now my brakes are worn out. Come on, they were worn out when you got here. There's pictures here, there's a video here, like you signed off knowing it, we talked about it, you knew, and it's 6 months later and we told you they were due right then and there. This is not our problem. Yeah, but nicer,
Fuel tank's empty.
Fuel tank's empty. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
This light wasn't on.
Yeah.
That light wasn't on.
Wait a minute. Someone has actually accused you of siphoning the gasoline out of the fuel tank? How did that go?
I think it was more them accusing us of like joyriding in their car, taking it for a long trip.
Oh, sure. That's part of your service.
But one of the things that we do is in our documentation process, when the techs first even approach the cars, they take pictures of the car. Full 360-degree shot of the car. And then once they get in the car, they take a picture of the dashboard for a variety of reasons. Here's what the mileage is. Here's what are any lights that are on in the dashboard. And then whatever it is, whatever repair was later done to the vehicle, the same inspection happens all over again. Maybe not to the full extent that the tech just went through the whole car, but we'll go out there, take another 360-degree shot of the car. And then we'll get in the car and we'll start the car up and take a picture of the dashboard. And now document the out mileage. Show that these lights are now off, or maybe there is one still on for whatever reason. But it's all just to show this is what it was before, this is what it was after. And that, I had a customer say, oh, you took my car all over the place and now I have no gas. And we had clear documentation. We went 3 miles in your car.
Right.
We drove your car for 3 miles. Like, you had no fuel to start with. So it happens.
So I love that process, because I feel like not only is it keeping the integrity of what you do, right, by documenting it, but also, from a liability standpoint, you're covering your ass in a very smart way. Of
course. These digital inspections that our techs do, they serve a variety of different purposes. Yes, it is for liability standpoints, We had one a couple weeks ago. Guy thought that there was a scratch on his car that was not there when he dropped the car off. And because we took such great pictures, and when the guys see a scratch, a dent, anything like that, they take a specific picture of that. We had a picture to show him, I'm sorry, buddy, like that scratch was there. And then he was really good about it. He's like, oh man, I never saw that before, but so I didn't know. And that's it. That was the end of the conversation, but that's why those pictures and that inspection kind of ends the conversation very quickly, but it gives people a look at their cars that they don't ever see. They get pictures, they get videos, and I've seen other inspections. I've been to places that have inspections similar. The pictures look like shit. They're small, they're impossible to zoom in on. They're low quality. Ours are really good. We show you a picture of the underside of your vehicle, and people don't get underneath their vehicle. They don't know what the underside of their car looks like.
How many shops nationwide that you've dealt with take videos and pictures of the repairs before and after? Like what percentage?
Well, in general, or every one of my shops does.
Okay,
but every single one of my shops.
What's your feel for like all shops?
I think so in general. So I've been in this industry for a while, and then I've been at a high level in this industry for a while, and all of the top shops, right? So like anybody doing over say 1.2 million plus, all of them.
Okay.
Every one of them, and if they don't, they're an anomaly. So everyone doing over 1.2 million. Everyone that is lower stress, where the owner oh shit, it's 3 o'clock, I gotta go to my kid's baseball game or whatever. And they can just kind of take off because they have systems and things in place. Like all of the more smoother running shops all do that. The guys that are operating with paper, the guys that are, typing things up on their QuickBooks invoicing system and stuff like that, like that's great if that works for you, but those guys are usually the people that are scared to invest the money that they need to in their business. These are not expenses. It's not an astronomical, that is the least astronomical expense, to have this software. It's a subscription-based software. They're constantly updating. If you have a problem, you get on the phone or you email tech support. It's very simple, but the shops that are using it all tend to do better, but they all tend to kind of follow this same pattern. You have stuff like that, it's because you care about your business. You're trying to scale it. You're trying to grow it. You want the customer experience to be better. You want to add more value. The guys that don't, they're usually trying to cut costs in general.
Or they're resistant to change.
A lot of them are resistant to change still, yeah.
Techs are.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
techs, if you have an older tech, if you have to use your cell phone or a tablet or whatever you use to complete these inspections, I've had some techs that we trained them and we showed them exactly how to do it and how easy it is. It really is easy. We make it very, very easy. But I've had techs in the past that were a little resistant to it. They go, I don't know how to use my phone that well. I don't know how to use the camera or zoom in on this or that. Like it happens, right. And we help them out. And within a week, 2 weeks, they're flying. They're zooming.
Well, there it is, getting back to that one thing a day that you don't like to do.
Yeah,
I remember when computers first came out, I'd walk past it and kind of like hit one of the keys and be like, what's going on? Almost unwilling to learn how to do it, but eventually they do come around.
Yeah.
So I guess at the end of the day, really your motivation is to get the customer to come back to you.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. So all of these things are kind of adding up to that bottom line of, okay, let's get them back. Let's get them to say something nice about us to their buddy.
Oh yeah. The referrals, the biggest thing you can ever do for me. Reviews are great. We have a lot of people that will talk really nicely about us in these town forums and on Facebook, and they'll tag us in a Facebook or an Instagram post or something. I'm here at Precision. They always take good care of me. Those are great. I love seeing that stuff. But when I ask a customer, if I'm ever on the phone with a customer and I say, "How'd you hear about us?" Because I'm asking every new customer that. I always want to know. When I hear them drop one of my customers' names, a name that I really know, that's as good as it gets. Pat Kelly told me to come in. That's awesome.
I was just going to say, I know for a fact that 100% of Precision's new customers come from Rock 102 and Pat Kelly. Every single one of them.
I had a customer one time told me he was going to kick your ass if we messed up. I said, "Wait, don't tell me that. I'm going to mess up on purpose. We'll leave a wheel loose."
Has anyone ever come in and said, "Despite that asshole, I'm still well, I appreciate you joining us today, man, and thanks for the insight.
Absolutely.
It's fun. You got a damn good shop, and it's not just me saying it; it's your customers saying it. 9 years in a row, the best shop in the area. Matt Revving, owner of Precision Auto Repair. If you're ever in West Springfield, Massachusetts, and you have an issue with your vehicle, the best in the business is sitting to my left. James Stevenson, owner of Lotus Business Solutions, specializing in auto shops. Man, if your shop is not running efficiently, James can help you with the systems from top to bottom. Lotus Media, if you are having issues with your messaging, we're the experts at that. We will put together a message that talks about the benefit of your business and why people should come to you. We're not going to list, here's the things that we do. We're going to list why people should do business with you. And lastly, and you mentioned for the guys who are using QuickBooks, man, Lotus Financial can help you out there. We've got CPAs, we've got bookkeepers, small business experts. Lotus Financial can help you there. Lotus Media, I got to get the website right. I always screw this up. LotusPE.us.
Yeah. LotusMedia.biz, LotusFinancial.us, and LotusPE.us.
Just my luck that I'd fuck up the website. In any case, contact us if you need help growing your business. We're here for you. James, Matt, pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for everything they do, man. You are exceptional at your job, and I appreciate you every single day.
Likewise, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.